Okay, Rob Ellis, Horizontal Land Partners, Pink Development and Construction, and now Third and Warren Land Holdings SPV LLC. Those are our three sponsoring entities for what I'm about to go through, which is these are our articles of organization. Third and Warren Land Holdings SPV LLC. This is the Land Dev Co. They call them. It says a land holding entity focused on the acquisition, development, and infrastructure management of residential properties. We specialize in providing land solutions, managing entitlements, and overseeing infrastructure development to support institutional investments and builder-driven exits. Boom. And the statutory agent is our development company. And so that what we're going to go through is probably one of the most complex structures I have ever put together. This is a structured finance. Um, and we're going to do the workflows here as well, go through the website, send out the inquiries. You guys are going to see it full start to finish. But if what we were talking to, as we're talking to land developers that are doing deals in Springfield, I only talked to one today. It's very important to receive public development or incentives. And incentives really make these types of things feasible. One of the developers we talked to said you couldn't give me the land for free without a incentive. So, given that, I spent 6 hours drafting a proposed CRA and NCA structure to the director of development for the city of Springfield. And at the same time, we are soliciting um, organizing parties or sponsorship groups. It's called it's like a proposed sponsorship structure. And that is to bring it all together and make it feasible. Because if we get this done, depending on who we sell these lots to, we'll be making about 60,000 a month, and that'll be good income to sit on. So if we can't sell the project, we have to look at this structure and the use of this structure to monetize this site or sell it out. Um, if I can get a lump sum or a proposal to do this, it lets us do it. So currently right now we're waiting on our final yield tables. We have, I don't think we have a total finished design yet. Nope. So we're just going to go into it. We're working on the final yield tables. I think we're at like 130, 140. I was hoping to get to 160, but I think we're running it a little bit more conservatively. So we're doing the smallest lots possible that any builder will accept, which is approximately 40 by 130. We have seen shorter, but this is by right with the building envelopes that are needed for these builders. This we're talking to a few different builders and national groups, and this is the proposed capital stack design for what we're talking about. So the project's on McCrate Avenue in Springfield, which we've gone through, 27 acres. It's RM12 with an overlay, but zoning just changed, so we need to look at that. It just happened 2 days ago, but it didn't really impact us. The total units is 145 single-family detached lots, which is preliminary plat and final pending engineering. We've passed conceptual and we're turning in our preliminary subdivision plat very soon. The builder exit is 63,000 per lot on average. The total exit value is 9.14 million with an absorption over 3.5 years. The sponsorship group, Horizontal Land Partners, that's one of my entities. It's a 506C Reg D Delaware registered pre-IPO land entitlement sponsor and infrastructure de-risking platform, targeting 50 million total capitalization. Pink Development and Construction, which is a Texas incorporated, Ohio registered foreign entity and licensed general contractor GC09302 which is serving as a self-performing infrastructure developer and management co. And the third one is Third and Warren Land Holdings SPV, which is a newly formed Ohio incorporated land holding SPV for title control of the Springfield subdivision. It's a holding company because we haven't named it yet and we don't know who the builders are or what they would want to do it. We're early on, but we want to move this into our structure. So we have an A&D loan at 70%. That's 4.095 million. Site acquisition, engineering, horizontal development. NCA lump sum, which is an NPV at 9.5%. We're going to discount the future value of our structure. We propose a tax structure that gives a tax abatement and also levies assessments every year. And we're gonna sell that income stream to front load the infrastructure and developer equity. That is our lump sum payments. That's a capital stack, a very simple view on it. So there's total project capital of 6.683 million, which is more than we need. Precedents is Melody Park in Springfield, CRA and NCA structure approved in 2024, I think actually. 6,000 a year NCA per lot for 15 years. Reimbursement tied to infrastructure acceptance used by 40 partners. Bridge Park, CRA and NCA and TIF overlay. Developer was Crawford Hoying. Escrow special assessments funded through structured reimbursements for public garages. And Easton Town Center, NCA and TIF layered structure, which is a use to collateralize horizontal infrastructure bonds and mixed use expansion. And Liberty Center was mixed use public-private financing via NCA assessments used for horizontal improvements and debt servicing. These case studies demonstrate precedent across Ohio for using NCAs to unlock reimbursable equity and structure non-recourse infrastructure financing. The intended recipients. This model is structured for review and engagement by the following firms: strategic advisor, legal, capital markets, CRA, and NCA structurings, seeking alignment with partners who can add market-tested insight and execution support across municipal trustee or developer negotiation frameworks. Bricker, Grayson, LLP, Public Finance and NCA Council. Dinsmore and Stoll, LLP, TIF and NCA attorneys with Ohio experience. UMB Bank, Public Finance Trustee and Escrow Agent. Stifle Public Finance, Placement and NCA Note Facilitation. Republic Infrastructure and CIF, Non-Recourse Infrastructure Capital Providers. City of Springfield, Economic Development and CRA Board, Municipal Review Partner, and Builder Partners. LPA candidates for finished lot acquisition, which is to be determined post preliminary plat submission, which should be next week. Monetized revenue source. This is 2,400 a year per lot, which we're asking for that. It could go up a little bit. The term and the total revenue stream, we're applying a simulated discount rate of 9.5%, which is probably a worst case scenario. Gross present value is 2,587,995, 2.5 million. We think that the estimated legal structuring, trustee, and strategic advisory will cost 250,000, which means there will be 2.3 million net NCA available for the project or developer equity. The use of proceeds. Land and acquisition and engineering, 650,000 paid at closing. Infrastructure construction, 5.2 million. And so by Pink Development reimbursement post installation. So we're going to reimburse the additional equity, and the additional is working capital and developer surplus. Margin retained by developer for pledged equity and reserves. Fully funded through A&D and net NCA proceeds. It shows the total project uses. NCAA proceeds allocation. It shows the gross. It shows the fees that are taken out of it. So 2.587 million. Transaction advisory fees deducted. And net NCA to capital stack. Balance to fulfill project stack after A&D is 2.588 million. Developer surplus equity is 833,000. And it says, we believe it's important to engage strategic advisors who understand these structures in markets. We're willing to pay a premium for experienced advisory services, and these fees will be incorporated into the NCAA sale proceeds and disbursement through escrow. Post-install disbursement structure. Upon verified infrastructure installation, full NCA lump sum is released from escrow. Fees are paid to legal trustee, strategic advisory partners. Net proceeds are applied to equity, contribution, and margin, developer fee recovery where applicable, pledged reserves, and internal working capital. Equity release waterfall. Lot sale triggered. Each lot is sold. Net proceeds are applied to pay down A&D loan. Surplus is distributed to developer as equity, recovery, and profit. An example would be at a 22,000 margin per lot, 5K to lender, 17 to the developer. Which means if we're selling 4 per month or 3 per month, that's be about $60,000 a month profit. Contingent fee design, legal trustee, placement agent, and strategic advisory fees related to NCA formation and documentation, CRA coordination, escrow administration, and monetization placement, developer structuring, financing, and strategic market positioning. All fees to be paid from gross NCA proceeds at closing before net equity injection. Performance summary, total project profit, 3.3 million. Average profit is 78,000 per month. Cost of capital blended, which is a weighted average of the A&D debt and NCA discount, 9.78. Developer equity contribution is 0, fully funded via structured NCA and loan stack. And then it says the conclusion. Rob Ellis, founder of Horizontal Land Partners, principal of Pink Development and Construction. My email. A secondary attachment accompanies this document, the formal CRA and NCA proposals as submitted to the City of Springfield's Director of Development. It outlines the proposed overlay structure, incentive logic, and supporting documentation necessary for approval. This model delivers a complete, non-recourse, equity-free, horizontal development structure leveraging an approved CRA and NCA overlay. The NCA lump sum, 2.6 million. The gross is higher, and the structure includes margin of legal, trustee, and strategic advisory compensation and leaves meaningful retained equity for the developer. We welcome refinements from qualified finance or trustee partners. Structured sponsorship shortlist. Bricker and Graydon, Dinsmore and Soul, trustee, UMB Bank, Stifle Public Finance, capital providers is Republic Infrastructure or Community Infrastructure Fund, CI funds, Roll Funds, CRA, NCA-backed infrastructure, structured equity alternatives, City of Springfield Economic Development, and builder partners for LPA discussions. Reach out to builders already active in Springfield, which is Ryan Homes, DR, MI, Fisher. Some of that needs a little bit of revision, but let's go back and do a small draft, which is this. The gross here is 5.2. Maybe that was less fees. 5.2. And then this was going to be Ryan Homes, NVR. We need Arbor Homes. We're looking at DR Horton, Ryan Homes, and NVR. And then we have Clayton Properties. Clayton Home Building Group, which is the corporate entity. There are different entity and parent companies. So Clayton Home Building Group. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about NCA structured Finance, Springfield, Ohio. There you go. That comes up first, but um advisory. We'll just go to their site since it's easier. So we download this, the final draft. We also download this one, which is the Springfield CRA and NCAA narrative. And we're going to go to some of these websites. Let's check it out. It says 200 attorneys, client services, nationwide presence, all over diversity, equity, exceptional service. So we'll fill out a contact us form. When I look at their, probably their Dayton office. Okay. So this is um sometimes I have trouble with perfect language, so we're going to be drafting a can you draft email about this project too. And we like to uh, okay. So this is our outreach and let's see here. And there may be a few. We normally try to include 4 to 5 from each firm in case some of these go to spam. And so public finance, public law, Okay. So we are going to kind of involve a few different departments here. And we're talking about um just overall outreach. So that's the first one. And there's not really a contact us, so we're going to send it to that group. And then we're going to keep working our way down, which is Dinsmore. Okay, so we will do the same for Dinsmore. And it'll get to the right person somewhere. Brenda. So these are some of the structured finance, economic development. So they have substantial experience in it. Can you draft a general email? I'm going to put them all on the same one. Okay, so we're going to draft a general email. Just Dinsmore and make sure it includes our proposed structure to Springfield, which was put together and submitted today. Okay, so they have 6 attorneys on here. Let's see how many I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. There you go. And this is going to be advisory engagement. And it's going to be the same thing. Send it out. All right. We have next is UMB Bank Public Finance. Okay, we're going to look at UMB Bank. I don't even see one. So we're gonna say there's none in Ohio, may have closed. Who would be an alternative in Springfield, Dayton, or Columbus? We're gonna see if we can scrape like 10 or 15 emails from all these banks. And this is meant to just try to get it to the right person. And these don't always make it, you know? We're just trying to get the conversation moving. We put all this work in, we might as well get some credit. It looks like any bank would be, I would say Key Bank too. They tend to be, I'm going to ask for Key Bank next. Commercial Market Manager. We've got, oh, there you go, Key Bank. Yep, that's who I was going to go to. We have several of the Key Bank people here. Are these real emails? Is there anyone else that can hold the same positions? So we can get replies like an exhaustive list if you add another 10 to 15 who do this kind of stuff. Let's see if we can find any more, because I don't think we'd be talking to a bank right away. Richwood Bank, these are your smaller community banks. I think definitely would want to see this go to a community bank. Especially some that are based out of Dayton and um, Springfield directly. Here's some of the more incentivized ones. Municipal, because these are public roads, don't forget. We're financing public roads. And since we're structuring that way, we will get a bond as well. If I email all of these, do you think that's a good start for banks' perspective? Local, regional, affordable, strategic. You're not shotgunning, you're still focusing on local and regional lending magnets. Send an initial one. Can you draft an email that is generic They are all BCC. So what we're trying to do is make all the contacts for the viability of this. A lot of the times, um, yep, this is very well written. And let's see here, two attachments. So I think this is a just a very technical. It's not something that I'm an expert in, so a lot of the times banking related things aren't going to cost as much. You don't need an attorney to do these. But it's good to have one, right? We're building our sponsorship team and requesting information. This is a decent sized infrastructure project, and it is the start to what I think will be very impactful. Okay, let's see here. Next is we're looking at the public and private, the placement of the public finance structuring. Dinsmore, these are the kinds of people we want right here. I'm sure some of these aren't delivering. Even like a bank, if there's a bank that does this, that's a great sign as well. Corporate finance, some of these could be Bob Toll, Robert Toll. He is the partner of tax and public finance. Let's see here. Municipal bonds. Raymond James just has emails. And we'll say, is this as exhaustive as possible? These are just massive groups. And it's because we don't have like tons of relationships yet. So we have to be willing to talk to a lot of people. PMA, private markets, or public markets. All right. And mirrors the framework used by Melody Park and Bridge Park, but with significantly stronger financial transparency and discipline. Placement partners, trustee and escrow agents, legal advisors, CRA aligned institutions seeking impact qualified exposure. There you go. So this is another package to submit. And plus, we're going to put this out there on LinkedIn like we always do. All righty. Let's see what the next rule is. We're speaking directly to non-recourse infrastructure, private credit funds, impact lender, and specialized. Can you pull an exhaustive email list of at least 10, but better 15 from Ohio and Midwest? We're looking for local and regional if we can pull these groups in. Here we go. So this is the same thing where it's and it could be made up. You know, everyone's going to have their own opinion on it. But Brookfield Public Securities Group, Ohio Capital Corporation for Housing. I doubt this one's going to reach out investor relations, but we'll try. Prospect Capital Corp, Land Policy Accelerating Community Investment. Toledo, I doubt it's going to reach out, but they're trying their best. Someone here will be able to solve our problem. And if we're looking at all the different groups that could organize and run this, someone will take care of it. You draft the email generic, not for all groups. It's definitely not shovel ready. It's better to say early engagement. I'm reaching out to share an early engagement infrastructure financing opportunity structured around a CRA overlay. While still in the municipal review and entitlement coordination, the project presents this to do this. And we will have a general overview of what that will look like. And the subject here, that's a capital engagement. That's more of a capital arm to gauge interest and how you discount. All right, what else do we have here? Is there anyone else we're missing? I don't think so. So based on all of those, is there anyone I missed? Public placement infrastructure bond, national infrastructure funds, Star America, Icon, bond placements, Build America, utility infrastructures. Yep, these are great. You're at 90% coverage, which is exceptional for early stage national infrastructure sponsors. So if I add all the ones you have here, I'd be in good shape. Legal and structuring, placement and underwriting and trustee, infrastructure capital partners, CRA and impact aligned banks, municipal advisors and consultants, wrap and enhancer capacity, optional but strategic, Ohio state and regional authorities, a full MAC ecosystem of capital stack participants from NCA setup to reimbursement, confirm feasibility, begin soft circling capital, lock in trustee, move towards a full plat in Q3. Okay, so these are the last groups. And this is assuming they all go out there. And what we're going to do after this is we're going to also put this out there, the names of all those groups, and see what we can find. And it's a secondary follow-up to everything that we did earlier. And it's saying to build your incentives team. Who do you need? And all the different people we reach out to put hashtags in there. Maybe someone on their team that oversees the Midwest would reach out to us. That's the whole point of what we're doing here. Yes, draft BCC for this too. And then what we'll do is we'll turn that into a LinkedIn article. This is how we get early engagement. Here we go. Your colleagues is so broad. Okay, so I sent all that out. Who would be most important of all these groups? I think I would say it would probably be the structure. Republic, CIF, also the legal counsel, form, draft the bond and notes, and coordinate. And placement agent. Who would we engage first? You have to say who gives the most, who stands to make the most. They facilitate city confidence with prior Springfield, secure a formal engagement or fee structure. Legal counsel first. Um, would we discuss with the city first or attorney will? We're already discussing it. You've submitted it. It's established. Now you need to signal forward progress and bring in legal counsel. Keep the city looped in, but avoid open-ended discussion. Who did Melody Park? It would be a legislative act. Melody Park, NCA. Who are the key parties here? This is the minutes, I think. Developer, Jeff Fontaine. City of Springfield, Brian Heck. Clark County. These individuals influence the plat, some opposed due to CRA and NCA. Strong opponent focused on the impact on schools and township. Opposition, Springfield. The developer engaged legal counsel for negotiating, but the specific firm is not disclosed. Notice of objection. Who likely structured it? Or contacting Brian Heck's office to request confirmation. Who drafted it? Where can I find it? Where can I find the um probably the recorder site? Where can I find the NCA for Melody Park? It'd probably be in the recorder site. Our NCA public filed with the city or county clerk and county recorded for land related actions. Mr. Coon said it would be 15 years per resident per home. Archive amended would have on the school. It is anticipated to be significant as it was amended. Now, any resident, whether in a patio, comes online for the first 15 years, that would be zero school district tax revenues to which Clark Shawnee schools have the right to be entitled. He stated that for a period of 10 years would only receive 25%. Alrighty. The folks in Bridgewater aren't paying their taxes. Aren't paying taxes. They had to correct that those people are paying their taxes. It's just that they're being diverted based on the tax increment financing, trying to pass a renewal. I am having to pay more to educate students. Okay, so there is some commentary. Let's look here. How would this commentary be relevant to our proposed structure? What should we anticipate? And we proposed a similar narrative. Are critical. Filed an objection to the CRA and TIF. When negotiations failed, pivoted to CRA and NCA. It would lead to up to 300 new students without added funding and create political backlash. Expect Clark Shawnee schools to oppose your structure, even though the CRA under doesn't require the consent. The Melody Park precedent gives your project political cover, but also guarantees scrutiny. It imposes 2,400, not 6,000, and they're transparent and they're not a margin vehicle. You're not profiteering from the structure. That schools are not legal or harm, but be prepared for objections. School board meetings may be necessary. What happened? Despite staff recommendations, the CETA voted 4-3 to deny. The vote was driven not by engineering, but by political concerns over CRA, NCA, and school impact. Even with engineering approval, your plat can be denied unless you politically engage CETA members early. Expect public discussions to be hijacked by non-plat concerns, including school funding and service equity. Begin individual outreach now to clarify your structure. Consider inviting to a formal meeting where you transparency. Make sure the city planning and managers ready to public back. The CRA was described as a way to rob the schools, tax shell games that shift burden to residents, confusing and undisclosed, but the public precision. Brian Heck and Cheyenne Shuttlesworth were critical. They framed it as legal, non-school disruptive, and precedent backed. Lock in formal support letters from the city's managers and city planning. You're in a stronger position. Your infrastructure cost is higher, meaning you're not profiting. You're offering entry-level detached, school board opposition, public political plat denial. Will mine face all this, or is it incentive based? You'll face some staff level commentary, but not political judgment. If your project requires discretionary approval, which it doesn't, there you go. It's by right. You still have mind and planning staff review your CRA for awareness, but focus outreach on CETA members and school board only if it needs a hearing. No hearing. Ours is by right. Which means that public hearing and CETA's political plat votes, there's no school board influence, Negotiation with township might be needed. Well, I don't think, not required. Your project. Submit it for preliminary review, which I just did. And mine was somewhat different. Mine was submitted to um, Miss Cassie Scott. She's an economic development manager. Is this girl in anyone's office? This is the only group they said to reach out to. Do I need to find others? Why was I directed to her? Was the other one in Springfield, Ohio City as well? I'm saying Melody Park Pathway versus mine. Because of the PD zoning, the process required full interagency coordination. Mine is economic development manager, city planning staff may vote on NCA enabling ordinance, but not my plat. Is already within the CRA. Wow. I'm in a CRA already. So all that's left, all that's left is a NCA petition. Wow, that's crazy. Prepare it under that, name and purpose, third and ward infrastructure NCA, boundary description, development plan, land use, list of petitioners, you as property owner, proposed rate, submit to the city, submit the petition, coordinate with the city law director, city commission adopts it, record and activate. Wow, that's simple. Very simple. I'm saying it's very simple. I'm saying this is a very simple process. Can you comment on it? Why and how we picked the right site? This comes down to site selection. By right, CRA overlay in place. NCA structure, it's within the city limits, which is huge. We didn't have to annex in. It has a no veto. It can't because of the structure we did, the legal structure. There's no annexation needed. It's plattable because of the by right zoning. A clean site with the right overlay with by right. Move fast, minimize legal and avoid politics. Maintain upside. There's no TIF negotiations either. So how long do you think it will take? Internal legal review, draft ordinance, city commission, 6 to 8 weeks. You don't need bond financing. You can submit your preliminary plat in parallel. The CRA benefits apply once homes pull permits and the NCA overlay just needs to be recorded. Would you like to visualize it now? What is the best thing I can do? Develop by right and within city limits in the future. Develop by right within city limits with existing incentive overlays, certainty, speed, and margin. By right zoning, which is why we picked this site. Within the city limits means there's infrastructure and CRA access, water, sewer, police, roads, CRA, city activation, existing incentive overlay, CRA and CAOZ. Save buyers a lot of money. It's more affordable. Combine that with shovel-ready lot deliveries. Zoning. RM, R3, or any by right inside a city or urban service. CRA or NCA ready, no school objection. So if it's in the CRA, where do you find CRAs normally? Nationally. Is it driven by census tracts or cities? Is it driven at the state, national, or local level? That's the question. There's opportunity zones, TIFs. Okay, so tax abatements in other states, where are they? Florida, ad valorem tax exemption via ordinance, real property improvements, commercial and industrial, non-residential. Not friendly to broad residential tax abatements. Many developers use bond financing, density bonus, or CRA tips instead. Texas, Georgia, North Carolina, Ohio, Indiana, Texas, local abatement rare for housing. Georgia, Missouri. So we'll say, what are the best states to do these in? Wow, look at Ohio. Ohio, best overall. CRA, up to 100%. No school approval needed under 75%. For up to 100%, no school needed for under 75%. By right in designated areas, widespread city adoption. Entry-level subdivisions. Indiana, quietly powerful, up to 10 years, city council resolution. Georgia, Texas, and it's all housing driven. So we are looking at housing driven abatements. We're looking for offset property taxes. You know, it's the use of incentives to pay for infrastructure. Each state has a different one, but who is What are the different structures? There's different ones in Ohio, Texas, Georgia, new community CFDs, PIDs, tax abatement and an overlay, tax increment financing, pilot lease structures, developer reimbursement districts, public improvement districts, PIDs, utility and water district financing, MUDs, JEDs, CDDs in Florida, state infrastructure grants, school offset, compare by feature. What we have is school consent, no, under 75% abatement, CRA plus assessment. We did a NCA. What is the best no politics states like this structure? CRA is by right, and under 75% abatement requires no school approval. How is ours no school then? Your pre-existing CRA district designated. If the CRA is 75%, the city can approve it unilaterally. In your case, you're structuring a 100% abatement, but you're using an NCA instead of receiving direct tax benefit. Legal workaround that offsets the tax abatement does not reduce the school's real tax base. That's crazy. You do not touch the school's projected tax stream, so they have no legal standing. Wow. So CRA is by right and under 75% abatement. So break down the 75% statute. Oh, it applies per unit. This applies per unit, not per district. Wow. It applies to for sale. So if you apply it after permitting, you're not directly using it, offering, offsetting it with it. This replaces tax revenue, untouched. If you keep your CRA resident breach at or below, or offset a higher payment with an NCA, the city may proceed without negotiating. Did they, in this case, like, was there offering 100%? We are offering 100%. I don't get how we are working around it. You're not offering it. You're offering a 100% abatement offset by a specialist assessment via an NCA. The CRA abatement removes the normal property tax obligation, adds it equal to or greater. Oh, wow. So it lowers it below a 75% threshold. It still abates it, but It's not a tax, it's a separate charge. You're lowering the abatement below it. You're bypassing it with a private assessment. If the CRA is more than 75%, the school board must approve it. But here's what you're doing. Yes, you're abating it, but you're not stopping, you're adding private. If it's less than 75, oh, and does this not apply to me since I'm in a CRA already and they weren't? You're already inside of a CRA. It had to be created and amended, which had political risk. CRA abatement active, no. Required legislation and school objection. School board had leverage, yes. Used NCA around to work around a veto. Because my parcel is within, what CRA am I in? Okay, let's look here. Click on city and then CRAs. Let's open it up. We'll go to layers and Springfield, CRA, Ohio map. We may not be. Wow, that's crazy. We definitely need a lot of money. We might just have to take this all the way through. It says click the zoom in on the map to reveal the CRA areas. Map. Zoom in on the map. Okay, so this goes up like this. Oh, there it is. I think this is the high school. And I think we're about, see if you look right here, this is the, we have this round thing here. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, we kind of are getting our bearings now. You have this. This splits it all the way down the middle with the river here. I don't know if we are on the CRA. I can attach a screenshot and say, we'll move this. I'm gonna say, I don't think we are. It still isn't showing up, but look at this one. It doesn't look like we are. We need to use that. Is how hard is it to get an expansion? And can the school vote? I could keep, I could do a 75% with NCA equal to that too, without a school vote. Because I'm proposing what's the fastest structure. CRA at 75% and NCAA assessment equal to it. Confirm CRA boundary if it's needed. City ordinance, newest school sign off. Petition, enabling legislation, 60 days, no zoning change. Avoid school abatement. And if I was planning on 2,400, maybe I should just bump both to 75%. or 70% matching. But the housing value is 6,000, is 300,000. Taxes would be 6K. If we do 70%, what would my assessment be? What is the best case scenario? I think we want to free up. Wow, I could get a massive matches or exceeds the abated to cover full infrastructure. We could double the recovery. Is that what, so you think Melody Park just maxed it out? If we come in less, I think it helps us get better approvals. If my infrastructure is 5.5 million, what should I ask for both? You can ask for fees and frame it in the community balance structure. If it's 5, target recovery is 39, 2,600 per year. 70%, total buyer bill, 4,200. I recover 100% of the infrastructure. We're not maxing out. We're below the state approval thresholds. We're balancing buyer affordability. So it passes savings to the end user, like I said. Abates 70%. They save 4,200, still paid 30%. NCA replaces foregone total cost to buyer. Well, the buyer saves the difference of the CRA and NCA. You are wrong. If full property tax, what was that? If the CRA is 70%, they avoid 4,200. They have $1,400 of savings, which is fully reimburses us, but it also passes net savings. You're using a CRA to lower it and then using the NCA to recover your costs, but you're not charging the full balance. And I'd say that would be more accepted. What do you think? You recover 100% of your infrastructure budget over time. We could max it out and push incentives on a front-loaded sales structure. Max buyer affordability. Oh wow, you can pay for more premiums or options consideration. Wow, that's amazing. So I can push my lot values with this incentive to builders too. Those can sell. You've pre-funded. Pretty cool. Okay, can so my initial structure may be wrong, but basically the pathway is CRA expansion and NCA overlay, but below school vote. Cap it at the 75% and it avoids it. NCA overlay, fit petition, real tax paid, 1,500 buyer net savings. Fully funded infrastructure, NCA private charge. Your initial maxed out plus that would have triggered school objection, caused delays, but now I'm structured for that. So we'll look at that review, and we're not the experts, but can you take that and write up an institutional level incentive stacking strategy, but focus more on the advisory groups we reached out to? It doesn't sound like I need them, but we will get initial feedback. I would say that 100% abatements are more typical, but given that the school district we want to bypass, I think we'll just do the 75%. And I'll say, um, here is what we have, but I'd focus on just the incentives. And Ohio can talk about length at other state incentives. That was really interesting, like all the state structures, how to get them invest for entry level housing incentives. Use these two PDFs and lengthy as possible with SEO, hashtags, call to actions. I'd say we want to focus more on the advisory team, sponsor group, lawyers, incentives, and states availability. I think less deal specific, more who your team should be. You had an exhaustive list earlier. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay. So we're gonna see what it comes up with here. As how, here we go. Who you need, placement, trustees. There, that's a great one. Rank this 1 to 10. I think that's good enough. Okay. I think there's a better name you can come up with too, called like developer, to offset infrastructure. So I think it's a little bit more targeted. And then because it talks about infrastructure. Okay, there you go. We're going to say to clean this area up, make this copy paste ready. Okay, we'll bring this one in. We'll say, and do the same for this. Okay, up to 100% via CRA and assessment. most flexible, buyer-friendly structure in the United States, CDD, via bondable community development district, BTR capital loves it, Tampa, Orlando, Ocala domination, Texas PIDs, led with suburban overlays, Arizona, Colorado, Georgia, urban infill focus, not ideal for greenfield horizontal, Indiana, works with right team, identify state and site eligibility, confirm CRA, total infrastructure, model incentive stacks, assemble advisory teams, submit CRA ordinances, launch marketing with clear bill of incentives. That's right. And we'll say to national incentive stacking strategies for entry-level housing developers to offset infrastructure costs. I think that's a pretty good title. Incentive stacking is by far the best way to put in infrastructure, and you definitely need 87% of master plan communities use them. And that is the whole point of why it's important to study developments before you go into a submarket. I probably already have 60 to 80 hours, probably even more, into this subdivision. And that is based on yield counts and let's see what this whips together. It doesn't even have Ohio highlighted, but I think it's good enough. I don't think anyone's looking at this chart and calling it. That's pretty good. Looks fine. And then we can say with announcement to my network. So it looks like we may not um need an attorney. And this guide walks through ultimate advisory team, focus on buy rate development, entry level pricing, DM, full article below. There we go. And we publish it. And that is incentive stacking, which we have really started to look at. That is structured finance, and these guys make bank. And this is a public-private partnership because you're talking to schools, you're talking to the city, you're talking to the economic developers, you're talking to city planning and engineering and all these different types of sub teams. I think we want to pass some savings on. So we'll probably look to get a massive we'll just look at what structures we can do. We could go for more. It's good to start somewhere. Okay. Thanks for watching. And that's our outreach for this incentive stacking.